In late 2022, the crypto community was shaken to its core by the sudden and dramatic collapse of FTX. Just 10 days after a damning report, the world's third largest crypto exchange with over 1 million users would file for bankruptcy. FTX's founder and CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried, would be arrested and extradited to the US to face serious charges, while his former love interest, Caroline Ellison, would plead guilty for her role as CEO of FTX's affiliated trading firm Alameda Research. The collapse of FTX would also have serious ramifications for several banks and the crypto community at large, with some of the shockwaves likely to be felt for years to come. But how were these fraudsters able to dupe so many people before failing so spectacularly? And what was it that ultimately led to their demise? This is the dramatic rise and fall of FTX and its sister company, Alameda Research. Let's start by taking a closer look at the main villain of this story, Samuel Bankman-Fried. Ironically, SBF, as he's also known, is the son of two law school professors, and he was born on the campus of Stanford University. He was a gifted student and graduated from MIT in 2014 with a bachelor's in physics and a minor in mathematics. After graduation, he worked at the global trading firm Jane Street Capital in New York before moving to Berkeley, California in 2017, where he briefly worked at the Center for Effective Altruism. In November of that same year, Bankman-Fried co-founded the trading firm Alameda Research, and 2 months later he orchestrated an arbitrage transaction to exploit the disparity in Bitcoin prices between Japan and the United States, since Bitcoin had a higher value in Japan. At the end of 2018, SBF relocated to Hong Kong, where the headquarters of Alameda Research are currently registered. It was in April of 2019 that Bankman-Fried established FTX, a cryptocurrency derivatives exchange, alongside co-founder Gary Wang. Short for Futures Exchange, FTX was incorporated in Antigua and Barbuda, with its headquarters located in the Bahamas. Alameda Research played a crucial part in the expansion of FTX, serving as the primary market maker for the platform. Essentially, Alameda Research facilitated the buying and selling of assets on behalf of FTX's customers, occasionally taking the unfavourable side of a trade to generate interest and attract users to the exchange. This is probably a good time to introduce SBF's partner in crime, Caroline Ellison. Like Sam, Caroline had embarked on her professional journey in trading through internships at Jane Street Capital. She joined the firm as a full-time equities trader in 2016 and was mentored by Bankman-Fried. The two connected over their shared interest in effective altruism and stayed in touch after Samuel left for California and then Hong Kong. In February 2018, during a visit to the San Francisco Bay Area, Ellison met Bankman-Fried for a coffee meeting, during which he presented an opportunity to join Alameda Research. Ellison accepted the offer the following month, citing her enthusiasm for cryptocurrency arbitrage and the chance to continue her pursuit of, quote, earning to give. By October of 2021, Ellison had assumed the role of co-CEO alongside Sam Trabucco and later became the sole CEO of Alameda Research following Trabucco's resignation. In May and June 2022, Alameda Research experienced a series of losses, as revealed by anonymous sources to the Wall Street Journal. According to these sources, FTX, under the leadership of CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, then made the decision to lend Alameda Research more than half of its customer funds. This action directly violated FTX's terms of service, since the use of customer funds for such purposes was explicitly forbidden. Bankman-Fried would later refer to this decision as a, quote, poor judgment call. On November 12th, more anonymous sources indicated that Alameda CEO Caroline Ellison, as well as others, were aware of the decision and that FTX had even used software to mask the inappropriate activity. However, by this point, the cat was already out of the bag. The beginning of the end for FTX had actually come 10 days earlier, on the 2nd of November 2022, when CoinDesk, the most influential trusted platform for the emerging crypto economy, published a report raising concerns about leverage and solvency related to Alameda Research. According to CoinDesk, Alameda Research held a substantial amount of FTT tokens, the native token of FTX. In fact, Alameda Research had around $5.1 billion worth, which comprised a significant portion of its overall assets. The report also revealed that Alameda Research's investment portfolio primarily consisted of FTT, rather than traditional fiat currencies or other cryptocurrencies. This reliance on FTT tokens was a major red flag, and 4 days later, Changpeng Zhao, the CEO of Binance, announced that his company would be selling all of its position in FTT tokens. This amounted to 23 million tokens, or around $529 million. Zhao stated that this decision was driven by risk management, with the previous collapse of the Terra cryptocurrency still fresh in everyone's memory. With Binance being the world's largest crypto exchange, it sent a clear message to investors, and the following day customers began scrambling to withdraw their assets. Withdrawal requests totaled a whopping $6 billion in just a few days. Meanwhile, the value of FTT tokens plummeted by more than 80%. There was a glimmer of hope when Binance announced it would bail out its rival on November 8th, but just 1 day later the company backed out of the agreement, citing concerns over the mishandling of customer funds. On November 9th, FTX's official website stated that withdrawal requests were not being processed at that moment. Bankman-Fried acknowledged that while the firm's assets exceeded the deposits made by clients, external funds were required to meet the high demand for withdrawals due to a lack of liquidity. SBF also clarified that FTX US, which was operating as a distinct entity, was not affected by the ongoing crisis. Bankman-Fried did issue an apology the next day on Twitter, confirming that FTX's international exchange lacked sufficient funds to fulfill customer demands. He attributed the issue to, quote, poor internal labeling, which resulted in miscalculations regarding leverage and liquidity. In the same Twitter thread, he further revealed plans to wind down trading activities at Alameda. The California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation made an announcement of its own on November 10th. They had started an investigation into FTX. Meanwhile, in response to the news that Bankman-Fried was seeking a capital injection of up to $8 billion to rescue FTX, the securities regulator of the Bahamas froze the assets of FTX digital markets. This effectively spelt the end for Sam Bankman-Fried, and on November the 11th, 2022, he made the decision to step down from his role as CEO of FTX. He was succeeded by John Ray, a man appointed by the court as the interim CEO. Ray had prior experience leading the energy trading firm Enron during its bankruptcy proceedings. When referring to the prior mismanagement of FTX, Ray stated, quote, "Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information as occurred here," adding that the situation was, quote, "unprecedented." FTX filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, but within hours of doing so claimed it had been hacked and was the victim of unauthorized transactions. An estimated $477 million was stolen from the company, according to some experts. Digital assets had to be moved to cold storage, which is basically a crypto wallet that's offline, for security purposes. An interesting twist in the tale came on November 16th, when a class action lawsuit was initiated in a federal court in Florida. The lawsuit claimed that Bankman-Fried orchestrated a fraudulent cryptocurrency scheme with the intention of exploiting inexperienced investors throughout the United States. The lawsuit named several celebrities and professional athletes, such as Steph Curry, Shaquille O'Neal, Tom Brady, Naomi Osaka, Larry David, and Kevin O'Leary, who had endorsed cryptocurrency and were alleged to have aided Bankman-Fried in carrying out his scheme. That lawsuit would be the last of Sam's worries though, as on December 12th Bankman-Fried was arrested by authorities in the Bahamas and subsequently detained. The arrest was made in connection with multiple fraud charges related to FTX, including an indictment issued by the US Attorney of the Southern District of New York. US Attorney Damian Williams while announcing the charges against the former CEO, referred to the case as one of the largest financial crimes in American history. The following day, the newly appointed FTX CEO, John Ray, testified before the US House Committee and revealed that FTX had engaged in inadequate bookkeeping practices, describing the situation as, quote, old-fashioned embezzlement. Bankman-Fried was later extradited to the United States and subsequently indicted by the US District Court in Manhattan on 8 counts, including securities fraud and money laundering. Following a court hearing on December 22nd, a federal judge granted Bankman-Fried's release from custody after his legal team and federal prosecutors reached an agreement on a $250 million bond, the largest in history. While awaiting trial, SBF is confined to the Northern California area and will be required to wear an electronic monitoring bracelet. As for Caroline Ellison, on December 18th she entered a guilty plea in the Southern District of New York, admitting to multiple charges including conspiracy to commit wire fraud against FTX customers, conspiracy to commit wire fraud against lenders of Alameda Research, wire fraud against lenders of Alameda Research, conspiracy to commit commodities fraud, conspiracy to commit securities fraud, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Prior to her plea, Ellison was facing up to 110 years in prison. It's unknown what punishment she'll receive now, as she'll likely have to wait until after she's given evidence at SBF's trial. The unsealed transcript of Ellison's plea hearing on December 23rd revealed that she had conspired with others to embezzle billions of dollars from FTX customers, while misleading investors and lenders. Additionally, Ellison disclosed to Judge Abrams that Sam Bankman-Fried and other FTX executives had received undisclosed loans totaling billions of dollars from Alameda Research. According to court documents, Ellison received payments and loans totaling $6 million from Alameda Research during her time with the company, which was significantly less than what her male counterparts had allegedly received. The ramifications of the FTX crisis for the cryptocurrency industry as a whole will gradually unfold. As the largest collapse in the relatively short history of cryptocurrencies, FTX may further discourage investors who are already cautious due to concerns about stability and security. Customers who have assets on the FTX platform may face challenges in recovering their holdings, although recently $7.3 billion of cash and liquid assets were able to be recovered, and this could potentially lead to further legal action. Regulatory bodies like the SEC and others may view FTX's collapse as justification for stricter oversight of cryptocurrencies. Furthermore, there is a possibility that Congress may be inclined to intervene and establish new laws governing digital tokens and exchanges. Whatever happens, the stunning collapse of the world's third largest cryptocurrency exchange will reverberate through the cryptocurrency landscape for a long time.